Okay, then let's see where this goes. I hope my audio is correct. Let's just see.
I hear the word progress, I puke internally. Let me tell you.
Wait,
It doesn't matter.
What did we progress exactly? This degeneracy?
It doesn't matter.
Did we progress in degeneracy in filth?
Okay.
Because
Why
we
though?
progressed in
Why?
that.
No. Why did we progress in degeneracy? As I told you, 200 years ago it was different. Why? What changed?
Like I said, you can't prove me it was different,
Let
man.
me explain.
Of course I can. If you do the most basic amount of reading, you will realize that. Do the most basic amount of reading, you will
You
realize.
think they didn't fuck with each
Can
other?
you give me a moment?
Can you give me a moment? I don't want to speak over people because I don't have headphones. You're gonna echo. So basically, from what we have of historical records, marriage and presumably sex, due to the culture, did happen between royalty in Europe. But overall, in the culture, it was shunned in the basic populace. That's quite what it is. It was allowed between royals. There even a point where marriages between a 45-year-old and a 9-year-old happened. But in the overall populace all across Europe, if you did that, yeah, you're definitely gonna get lynched. That's what happened in Europe.
I just want to give a counter argument to his point about the punishment doing nothing. Like, if there was no practical punishment, do you not understand that human beings will be in chaos? If there was no thing to punish stealers and people who commit crimes, there will be chaos. And the death penalty is something that does deter people from doing the sin. This is one of the
It
wisdoms
does matter. It does
harshness. This is one of the wisdoms behind the harshness of some punishments in Islam. It is
It
also
doesn't
to
matter,
deter people from doing it.
It doesn't
The amount
matter.
of people who do it would drastically decrease.
Oh no, it
completely.
wouldn't.
This
It
is
wouldn't.
Are you one of the people who's against, who believes in rehabilitation?
No. I am one of the people who actually want to tackle the root of the problem with complicated solutions and not sort band-aid solutions that will last for a couple of hundred years before a revolution comes and destroys the culture in hand. This is what has happened in every single Islamic state since their founding. It doesn't last. There is a reason for why it doesn't last, because people are not happy under it. Now,
what?
I will add something else to it.
Because it gets invaded.
I will add something else to it. Why do you think? Why do you think that our culture and our societies at large, throughout Europe and in America, have degenerated completely in the last 100, 200 years? Answer me that question. Why do you think that has happened?
Because they are far away from God. That's why.
Exactly. And which God were they following? Exactly. That's my point. People are straying away from the church, and everything gets fucked up. Now, instead of enabling some retarded laws, we need to find a way to bring people closer to the church. These laws are useless. The only thing that we need to do is bring people close to the church. Nothing else is needed. Nothing else.
There's a difference between calling people to the church, and there's a difference between stopping criminals from committing crimes. Okay?
Crime would never
listen. But you must stop them from committing these crimes. There has to be a punishment. There has to be something. And if they do commit the crime, guess what? They have to feel the graveness of the crime that they have committed. They have to feel something, bro. You putting him in a box, putting him in jail is at least something, but it's literally nothing. Because he's just gonna get out of jail and do it again and again. It's like we see.
You can see that there are places in the world, and you can even take the Scandinavian countries now, right? They're hellholes in a way, but if you look at crime rates, no crime happens. Why? There are no punishments. Like, there are no harsh punishments, but no crime is being committed. Why?
Okay, so that's
what are you talking about, my dude? Do you think they don't have crime? What is this shit?
I never say they don't have crime. I say if you compare their crime rates with other European countries that have much stricter laws about a lot of things, crime is virtually non-existent in certain places. You can look at Japan, you can look at Korea. So,
okay,
I'll tell you why Japan has a low crime rate. Because Japanese police is notorious for sweeping things under the rug. For any murder they don't solve or they don't want to solve, they just classify it as suicide. That's a fun fact you learned.
It's actually very true there.
So
Okay.
yeah, don't.
In terms of Japan,
Don't,
that's why.
yeah,
That's
don't
why.
take their word for it, okay? They're not like paradise over there.
I never said they're paradise. I'm just saying, how come these countries have considerably lower crime rate, considerably lower, while we're having the same laws?
Because they are, you know, homogeneous societies.
Oh, whoa.
That's why.
So what you're telling me is that there are more complicated reasons to crime than just, oh, we need to have strict rules, bro. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They do
I'm
also
not.
have strict rules.
Hold on.
I'm pretty sure they don't
I'm
have the
not
death
gonna
penalty and
equate.
everything.
I'm not gonna equate a couple teenagers fucking with an actual crime. Okay.
Oh, but
That-
he said there should be lynchings.
No,
You're
that's
fine with that.
listen. When
Okay.
you say that,
Okay.
just
Kael, why don't you clear the air? What is the punishment for two kids fucking in Islam?
okay, this is the punishment for there's fornication and adultery. And the difference is that the adulterer is someone who is married, okay? And then
Okay.
they go
Yeah,
on
yeah.
cheat basically. So the one who's the fornication, they get lashed. And it's 100 lashes
See,
for the
see, I tell you, it's ridiculous. If you actually
It's
buy into
ridiculous.
that, you
It's a
have to be
punishment.
retarded. Like,
Bro,
sorry,
listen.
Hold on.
Listen, if you don't
100. You cannot survive 100 lashings. It's
no,
and then
you can. But
they'll be
Yeah.
very hurt and they will feel
you will be passed out at 20, my dude. What are you talking about?
listen,
If
the
they are
point is that
actual
this is the
lashings.
punishment that they get, okay? And for the adulterer, they get immediately stoned. But you have to prove that
yeah,
it's actually
nice. Now, I'm sure that
yes, because
such
it's
a
a disgrace.
culture will last and persevere the test of time. I'm 100% sure.
Yeah, it did.
And it
Absolutely.
will be very prosperous and happy
People
for
will think
the
twice
people
before
that live in
cheating.
that.
People think twice before cheating.
Excuse me, gentlemen, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have a question. Because I've been listening to you for a while, right?
Okay.
And I have one very specific question to Kael.
Okay.
What is your personal definition of pedophilia?
My personal definition of pedophilia. Look,
Mhm.
this is how it is. If the person, the boy or the girl, have not reached the age of puberty, and the age of puberty varies from person to person, from woman to woman, and from man to man. Okay, not all women reach the age of puberty at the exact same day, at the exact same age. Okay, and we know this. This is biology. Some at 10, some at 12, some at 14, some at whatever age it is. Okay, so if it's before they have reached that age, then it is haram to marry them. You can't do that. You can't be anything. You can have a marriage contract, which means that okay, that when she reaches these age, when she fulfills the conditions, she'll be married to you. Essentially, something like that can happen, which is like an arranged marriage. But an actual like marriage where they consummate the marriage and essentially have sex and stuff like that, and intimacy and so on, this can't happen until she reaches the age of maturity, which is physically puberty, and mentally it has to be that she understands what marriage is, what
All right.
fundamental
Okay, I have
stuff.
two follow-up
Okay.
questions then, because I think I understand what you're talking about. Okay. Now, first question would be, do you understand? I mean, puberty is not like a checkpoint. It's a process that starts and it goes on, and
Okay.
then you land somewhere. And secondly, how is it? What are the norms? How do you like decide what are the standards? What are the exact parameters that needs to be met according to your ways of viewing things? How do you decide that this is
Okay.
it?
So the whole reason why Islam doesn't have a specific age and it rather has conditions, this is out of the wisdom of Islam because not all people are the same. And he told me
Okay,
why is
I
the
get
exact
that. I get that.
one,
I understand
why is the
that.
exact
I
one.
understand that part, which is
For the
why
woman.
I'm asking, what do you use instead of an, let's call it, an arbitrary number?
Okay. We use conditions, that's what I was saying.
Okay, can you
And you go to
describe
the
them?
person. Okay, I told you the conditions of
Okay, how do you measure them?
okay, the condition for the woman reaching the age of puberty is that signs of puberty emerge in her, like her getting her first period and stuff like that, which the signs of puberty are not. If you want me to list them for you, you can just look them up. And that's also for the man. Also, the man has such certain signs of puberty that show in him, like hair growing and stuff like that. this are signs of him reaching the age of puberty and having wet dreams and so on. These are all other signs of them reaching the age of puberty. That is the point essentially. Because once she reaches her period, that means she can bear children.
So
saying
I
that
do assume that what you mean is the start of the puberty, right?
Essentially, yes.
Okay. So now I would have another follow-up question.
Well, I would say that when the signs of puberty emerge in her, that she's not her. There's a difference between her and a literal child.
All right, sure. Now, that being said, tell me, okay, for the sake of the argument, let's just say that, okay, all of those rules and norms have been met, right?
Yes.
And how do you, excuse me, can I ask you, what is your age?
My age?
Mm-hmm.
I already said this before. I'm 22.
20? I see. Well,
22.
Okay. I wasn't here when you said it.
Okay.
So here's the thing. That is kind of very confusing to me. What about your biological attractions? No matter what the rules are, no matter about if legal or not, okay, let's skip past the arbitrary numbers and whatnot.
Okay.
How do you find that, attractive or something, like for the sake of procreation?
Okay, so this is also a major misunderstanding that I'm glad you brought up. That when it comes to marriage in Islam, it is not just about intimacy and things like that. These are just primary conditions that need to be fulfilled. There are other conditions as well, such as her being chaste and pious and modest and practicing and things like that. These are what are attractive to us. Okay, I'm just
I
talking about.
understand, but you're skating around the question a little bit. I am asking specifically about biology. Because I know that this is not the main drive, and obviously you need a lot more, right? I mean, most men should. Okay, I'm okay with that. However, what about like just on a purely biological level? Do you consider that attractive? Like, to get your pee-pee rising.
I don't get it. Get my pee rising for what?
Well, if you want to procreate with a woman or a female, as you would probably call it, you need to have an intercourse. And in order to have the intercourse, you need to, be in a mood, so to speak. So, is that like a possibility for you with let's say, all of your listed things have been met, and is that like a genuinely something you would consider? Apart from if it's legal or something, just for the sake of argument.
Okay, so if you're talking on a biological point, then yes, because both of the man and the woman are gonna have desires at that point. So, what I don't really understand the
So
question.
technically speaking, you as a 20 years old man, you would consider being attracted to. I mean, you would find it possible to be attracted to whatever the fuck age were we talking about? What was the number we agreed on? Like 11, 12? If they meet all of your criteria?
Yeah, if all of my criteria are met, yeah, I don't. It doesn't matter to me if she's that young or if she's 50 or 40 or however much, because the conditions are met. It's not even about her being that young or however you want to say it. Like even if she's older.
Yeah, but you do understand that on an evolutionary level, they do look a little bit different, 12 versus like 50. I mean, I'm an old man, so listen, obviously, I'm attracted to completely different fucking age group. But
I understand what you mean, but when the woman is in puberty, and then especially a few years following that, she is at her prime, the
Okay,
peak
but
of
you
her.
just added something, especially into
Oh, we're talking about
after.
we're talking about-
Yeah, I
was
probably
talking-
wasn't here. But okay, you just added a tag to this, especially after a few years. Okay, then I could kind of like roll with it. But at the beginning of it, as you said, according to the rules, when capable of bearing a child.
Okay. Yeah, that's if she's also mentally mature as well, which requires
No. Okay,
as well.
that's different. That's different. Okay.
has
That's
to be
that's a
honest.
separate level.
Look,
Okay,
if she's-
you
if
want
she's-
mental maturity.
Yeah,
Okay, let's put that aside for now. Let's put that aside for now. However, like on a very physical level of a sexual drive, you would be willing and considering.
Yeah, I mean, if she fulfills my conditions, she's
Mm,
chasing.
I see.
I honestly don't really care about her age specifically. I care about the person.
Have you ever? Do you have like? I'm not talking even about personal experience, but have you ever like seen any examples in real life, or maybe even anywhere of? I mean, of them, like however the females you would consider like that. Have you ever seen that ever outside in the wild or anywhere, or is it just a theory?
Well, it's not really a theory because I know it's a real thing that exists. But if you're talking to me, if I
Yeah. From your personal experience.
I've had really literally met someone like that, I don't think I have been in a position to just sit around with girls at that age. So I don't know what to really tell you. I mean, if they're gonna ask me about my actual relationship things, I've never done anything with any woman because in Islam we're supposed to be chaste and that's only for marriage. I actually wanted before, and I approached this woman before to see if we can get married, which didn't work out, and she was actually older than me. So that happened like
okay, I see. However, since we are talking about theoreticals, but even without approaching or meeting in person, like have you, other than talking about rules and criteria and whatnot, have you ever? I mean, because obviously you don't really have to approach anyone. However, you can think things. So I'm wondering if you have ever actually experienced.
Like fantasize about.
No, not even fantasizing. I'm not saying you would fantasize. It's like, had there been an option, would you approach? Is like, have you ever? Because I'm wondering, if this is like a completely mathematical question or maybe pure theory for you, or do you have any like personal, even if they are internal, personal experiences with that?
No, I don't have anything like that.
So could we then kind of come to a conclusion that you speak about criteria or whatever the books are saying and whatnot? However, in reality, that has never been confirmed?
I think it's pretty much been very confirmed
by you, but from your reality. I'm not talking about like historical context and whatnot.
Talking about reality as a whole, because we see like before 100 years ago.
Okay, but that's we are again skating back to history. I don't care about history. I'm asking about you, your personal experience.
But what does my personal experience have to do with anything?
Because I want to know your personal opinion, not the.
I gave you my personal opinion. I literally said it.
And experience.
Like you told me, like, did you have any experience? I just told you, listen, I didn't have experience to go and stay around with girls that age. If that's what you're asking.
Yeah, but okay, but since you would consider doing that given an option, I assume, right? If that was a possibility for you, I'm wondering if you have ever come across any, like, sometimes you just pass someone on the street and you like give the look and think, okay, you move on, but it's like, that was nice.
So how am I supposed to know how old she is if I just see her outside?
You really can't tell.
No,
Really.
not always.
I mean, listen, we're not
I
talking
mean, look,
about
bro,
TikTok.
let's be
We
real.
are talking about real life.
Yeah, real life. Which, by the way, I live in a Muslim.
Yeah. This is why. Because I
That's
do
rare.
understand that in the degenerate Western society, when we go on the internet, then from time to time we observe some individuals that are absolutely, style. Oh, hello there, Sorrento. And we observe things that should not happen. But I'm talking from your society, from your perspective. So it's like, does it cross your mind often? You really can't tell if she's 12 or 22?
What the hell?
Oh, yeah, we're doing the thing.
But what are you talking about? I literally don't understand your point. You walk past
You
the
just
girls.
told me that you can't tell the age.
I walk past some girls and you might think she looks cute or something.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm supposed to know her exact age or how old she is. That's reality. Unless she's like obviously really young, then you would know that she's a young girl, like really young. Like we're talking like 7 or something.
Okay, so you can't really tell if that cute girl is.
I don't live in the UK. I said I'm from the UK.
Well, yeah, okay, of course. But where I know you live in Algeria, right?
Okay, yeah, you heard that.
Mm-hmm. So where you live, it is impossible to tell if someone is 12 or 20.
Like the exact age, yeah. Like I'm not saying that. I mean, a lot of women cover up and some women don't, but it's not really a thing that I walk past and have to know, her exact age and stuff like that. I don't even think of things like that.
Interesting.
It's just such a like I don't understand the main issue that the people have because this is something that humanity has been doing for a long time.
Okay, yeah, okay. In
It has been happening
in
for a long
theory,
time. People get young, and they marry young, and they have children, and they have families, and they live, and that's exactly how it's been, especially in other religions as well. I don't know why the Christians also.
I'm not a Christian, so that is not my place to speak from.
In their books as well, and in their from what they know as well. Okay, this is not an, also for the people. So what do you suggest? Like, what do we do? Like, what do you have like a set age or something?
Honestly, I just trust my own instincts, but I am twice your age, so that is good enough for me.
No, I'm talking about what do you think the society should
I do
like
not
apply?
provide answers. I just listen to people and I interview people.
Well, who else has an answer that they can provide? Especially if the Christians want to talk.
Anyone?
Because
Take the
Sorrento also.
stage.
What was
Sorrento
the question? I thought it was a Kael exclusive here.
let's let Sorrento speak because she's earlier in the chat also said that you agreed
No,
that
Dozer
she
had a
reached the age
question.
of puberty. You also said that she has to reach the age of puberty, and it seemed like we agreed, and then you went on to say about rape and stuff. So
What
you
you
said that
need
you
to
think people.
what you people need to understand right now is that Kael's opinions are not Kael exclusive here or anything like that. So try to
It's not
get them
about my
into
opinion, bro.
let me finish my thought here. These are the opinions of the entire Islamic world, just so you know. So if anyone thinks Islam is going to save the world or save Europe, they would have to first
No, I think you
adopt
just
these
completely
opinions.
misunderstanding the point. Okay, you said that you think people should at least have a period at least to be in a relationship. I'm talking to Sorrento. And they can only have sex when they're married. And I said, we agree with that. So where is the real difference?
The real difference is that your definition of a pedophile and the West's definition of a pedophile is completely different. That's the difference.
Oh, thank you for reminding me that. I kind of fucking forgot about this point. The definition
you
of
didn't. That was
pedophilia.
your
And then Kael turned it into adultery.
You just asked me now.
Pedophilia is fucking a prepubescent person, essentially. That's the definition.
So talking about pedophilia, and I said that it's basically like having sex with a person who has not reached the age of puberty and not reached physical maturity and mental maturity.
That's what
That's a wrong one.
prepubescent means.
What?
Nothing. Go on.
Prepubescent is the definition of when for example, in case of a female, you could actually get pregnant, but you don't even develop the features.
Like what?
Like the visuals you speak of.
We're talking about her period.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like after the first period, that's okay.
Physical maturity.
Sorry, I might have talked over you over there. So can you repeat that?
Yeah, I said that's the sign of physical maturity. Like she has had.
So that is your kind of like this is where you draw the line.
Not justifying marrying 11-year-olds. We're talking about marriage as a concept and the difference between when someone is eligible for marriage and not.
And what's the difference?
The difference. One can get married and the other one can't.
Okay, but what's the difference between marriage and you could get married and tomorrow procreate? So how are those two things different in your way of viewing things?
What do you mean procreate? You mean like intimacy and
yes,
marriage?
and yeah.
Yeah, they're linked. Like marriage.
Yes, they are linked. But
you can't have intimacy outside of marriage.
Okay, so you can get married with someone who just got her first period, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And so what's stopping you from procreating the next day?
Considering that she is also mentally mature as well.
Okay. That's a completely different can of worms, but I'm just asking about the very basic levels.
Yeah, that is part of the basic level that she understands. And it's not just about intimacy, it's about you also fulfilling not just that, but all the other obligations and responsibilities that you have towards her as well, which is taking care of her and spending on her and so on and so forth.
Okay, so I understand your point of view, I think. However, I would need another follow-up question. So, hypothetically speaking, or maybe, no, let's go to the practical levels. Have you ever met or even heard of any prepubescent female that was mature, as you speak, whatever however your definition is?
Well, I mean, in like very, very rarely, in some remote parts of the world, where they're like orphans, and then the girl is like she has to take care of her younger brothers, and she actually goes and she works and she does and so on. I don't think that doesn't change her experience and the way she is. But that's a very rare occasion, like very rare. That's an exception. That's not the rule.
So you are talking about an individual that, due to circumstances of life, had to grow up early.
Okay, yeah, that's a sign of them being mentally mature.
I see. But do you understand that in the Western world, especially according to the DSM-5 standards, we consider that trauma.
Trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and doesn't mean that she's not really to that age.
No.
That's not mentally mature
Because the
for
way
her
we
to
view it over
have
here
family.
is more like trauma makes you do things and sometimes accept things that are not exactly healthy, but it's like it's what I have to do. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So,
Look, the point
by proxy, would it
where we
be
make
impossible? Would it be
idea of
impossible to assume that such a person could seemingly consent to something they have absolutely no understanding of, just because it seems to be like a kind of like a survival tactic?
a survival tactic? What do you mean? You're talking about the consent.
Well, let's just say a 12-year-old agreeing to marry, like a, let's say, 30 years old man.
Okay. So what's the difference between that and her consenting to have a boyfriend that's like 15 or something?
I mean, that's that's 15. Okay. Me personally, I think that kids at that
it's
age
okay if he's
should
15,
not be
but if he's
dating
30, then
at all.
there's something.
Okay. I just want to clarify. Me personally, I don't think that that should be happening.
Well,
I
that's
know
not
that
that's
it is
not
common. I know it is common. However,
okay, and this is what happens is that you guys allow this, and this is sex outside of marriage, which is a major sin, and it breeds much corruption to society.
okay, you're back
People
on
don't
the
bring-
rant.
don't
You're
bring
back
any
on the
kind
rant.
of-
Let's skip it
No,
because
no,
I
you guys
am
don't
not
bring
one
any
of the
kind of-
guys. Okay, listen. This is. I just told you. I completely disagree with that, and I am against that. Okay, what am I supposed to do? Okay, if Western society allows that, well then, what the fuck am I supposed to do to change it? Right? I can have my opinion. I'm asking you about your opinions. We're just talking. It's that's all. However, you cannot be doing the thing where you're just reverting back to because somebody else is doing a bad thing as well.
Because I'm mentioning to you, this is what Islam says, okay? That the marriage is only allowed from this point on, and that you should actually get married, and sex outside of marriage is wrong, okay? And this is why we do it. You guys are coming and saying that no, that you are not allowed to get married and all of this when she's reached the age of puberty and so on at these ages. And what's your alternative? Is that they should wait until they're much older, like 18, 19, 20, right? And I'm telling you, that makes no sense because these people are going to have desires and urges, okay, sexual urges for all that time, both men and women. So what is the solution to do? Are you just going to let them go rampant and have sex and have children that we're going to kill or put in foster homes that get molested and stuff like that? What are you going to do?
Well, there's actually one
The
difference.
that they should get married. Okay, you don't want to be married by 20. I don't know why you always assume they're going to be a 30, 20-year-old.
Okay. You're ranting again. Can
can be
I
also
have
a
to stop you a little bit? There's one difference. Obviously, there's two issues over here. One, raise your children better. And secondly, yes, of course, their sexual attraction forms. However, yes, that happens, but kind of within the same age group. That's the thing. So I think the
what's the
wait, let me finish. Let me finish.
Why-
Let me
why-
finish. Let me finish. It's just one sentence more.
Okay.
It's like when I was 18, I was dating 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 19-year-olds, and whatnot, and that was like my preferred group because this is what I was attracted to. However, many years later, as I was growing up as a man, that shifted. And I absolutely do not find it biologically attractive, that group anymore, because I moved on. But
Okay.
your argument that got you into the fire in the Hexagon server was like, there's nothing wrong per se with, that type of disparity. So maybe I assume that this is something that happens to preteens as well. I mean, Jesus Christ, I had my first girlfriend when I was 14. She was 15, but still, the lower you go with the age, the sketchier it gets. Now, if you're 12 and you want to have a 12-year-old girlfriend, then obviously, yes, that's an instinct, but you should know better, and I'm against that, personally. But you seem to be arguing that, well, once you enter the market, it's free for all. Am I not understanding something here?
Okay. Let me just explain things and try to not comment.
Yeah, carry on.
This is what's happening. Is that Islam has laws, and these laws are for everyone. Okay? That's why there's not a specific age, because people are different. You're going to very deep specifics where you're like, her physical, she gets her first period, and this and that and so on, when there is more to that. Islam doesn't just say that. You have to also be mentally mature, meaning understand and so on. Now what happens is that when we reach this age, both man and woman will have desires and urges. Okay? And Allah has made a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things. And the right way is to get married. The right way is to get married. I don't know why you're saying that when it's literally in your Bibles. This is to the Christians as well. And if you don't disagree with this, then you're gonna have to also assume that the rest of humanity before this age, the rest of humanity for thousands of years, were all pedophiles somehow, which is completely illogical. And they weren't. It's that they understood, and this is just how they lived their lives. When the woman, when she was of age, she would get married. We didn't have this idea, at least for some societies. But when you don't do this, and when you allow people to go, don't tell me, in your own personal opinion, you think it's wrong. Okay, that's good. But we're talking about what's happening in reality. And they're not just doing that. It's going and it's spreading, and they're having sex outside of marriage, and these women are being used and abused, which they also have fault as well, because they also go and commit the sin as well. But that's what's happening. And they lose their honor, their chastity, everything. They have these children that either, especially in today's day and age, where they just kill the baby, they kill the human being by getting an abortion or something.
Okay, lad, you're off the rails again. You have completely went into
The whole point.
That's
because
okay.
you guys,
We are talking about completely different things now.
I'm going to ask you for the solution. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The solution is not just marriage like this, but everything that Islam says as well. Which marriage's responsibilities and so on, where the woman will be taken care of. Not just used and abused by some sort of predator thing, which is what you guys are thinking. And so when they have these children outside of marriage, and these children grow up in broken homes, and they cause more crime.
The world is a bad place, and everything is fucked. Okay, we know that. But this is not about that. This is not what we are discussing right now. And obviously, in America, police is shooting black people. That's also irrelevant. A lot of bad things are happening. I'm not here to attack Islam. I want to understand one thing, one aspect you keep mentioning all the time. It's like the absolute age disparity when it comes to forming an attraction between a grown-ass man and someone who is really, really young, physically and mentally, and you keep also saying about the maturity levels. However, you do understand that we have science as well. We do understand how the human body works, and we also understand a few things about the brain. And there's something called prefrontal cortex. and it's nowhere near completion at that age, and it is extremely important.
Who came
Wait.
and said
Please let me
that
finish.
be the criteria for marriage? For two people to get married and fulfill their rights to each other, why do they have to have their whole brain fully developed? They can't understand. You're telling me they can't
To
understand.
form an informed decision consensually.
So they can't inform any kind of decision until they reach the age of 25. That's what you're telling me.
Listen,
They can't solve any logical questions. They have literally pretty much they're completely brain dead until they reach the age of 25. That's when they can start making decisions.
I mean, honestly, me personally, yeah, I would go for that, but that's me. That's me. I'm like, Jesus Christ, everyone is retarded. But I'm asking about your opinion. Do you?
Yeah, I'm giving you my.
Do you really think that a 11 or 12-year-old child can potentially be mature enough to become attractive to you as a wife, with whom you could procreate the next day? Has that?
Well, you're asking me about my very personal opinion, okay?
Yeah.
I have to see the person. I have to know the person. I have to see the person, how they
Okay.
look.
So
how
imagine
they act,
hypothetically, imagine the perfect one. Okay, the perfect one for you. The perfect one for you. It doesn't have to be a real person.
When you say the perfect one, you're talking about many things, like their beauty, their chastity, their honor,
Yeah. Everything.
so on and so forth.
Everything that is important for you personally.
When you say perfect, you're also mentioning that they are physically and mentally of the age, like mature in that sense. Okay, they're physically mature and mentally mature. That's when you say perfect. So when you say that, bro, I'm telling you, even if she's a 50-year-old, I would marry her if she's perfect in that sense. Do you understand?
Yeah, okay, but we started at a little bit of a lower number, and you just pushed it a little bit further.
She can be 30, she can be 50. If she's perfect, and I want to marry her
I
my
understand
personal
that.
opinion, if you're asking, I'm telling you yes. It doesn't matter to me the exact specific age, and you know what? If she just happened to be like 14, oh no, I can't marry her. If only she was like
we're
16.
lowering. Okay, we're back. But you do understand how it all started? 12 even, or 11.
Okay, but that's if they fulfill the conditions, bro. Not all women are the same.
Of course. Okay, that's what I'm asking. So if they meet all of your conditions, like the way you want them, you would be completely fine with that, like 11, 12, whatever.
Yes.
I see. That's all I'm asking.
That's if they fulfill the conditions. So don't take that out of context.
I see. And now, that being said, do you
bro,
believe that they do exist?
Be with any random person at that age. That's not how it works.
Okay. Let's put that for later. However, do you believe that females like that exist? Like, because you have a hypothetical inside of your head.
In today's day and age, it's rare, but I do believe that they exist.
So if they do exist,
I'll tell you something. I'll be honest. I'll tell you something, so you don't think that I'm trying to, not give you a straight answer or something. I'll tell you honest. If I had a daughter and she was 12 and I knew that she was physically and mentally mature, especially if she was mentally mature and she understood and so on, and someone who's a good, righteous man, a good Muslim, a chaste, modest, good Muslim leader, masculine man, and he came and he wanted my daughter's hand in marriage. If he was 20 or 25 or 30 or however old he was, I'll get her married. Okay? Because the conditions are fulfilled. And they will get married and they will live their lives and they'll have a good, healthy family where they won't be harming people and committing crazy acts outside of marriage. Okay?
Okay. I understand.
Because
so that is kind of like your final statement.
If you want to attack this, if you want to attack what I'm saying, then
I'm not here to attack. I'm here to ask questions.
And these Christians, okay, like they literally believe the same thing. Like you literally believe that Joseph was 90 years old when he married Mary when she was
Christian.
saying this, the Christians who are saying this.
Mm-hmm. You're talking to me now, so let's
Okay, sorry.
skip
I'm just
past
saying,
the.
reading that
Mhm.
and she's having a mental breakdown. All right, continue.
All right, I'm just here to know your perspective. That was just an interview, and I'm not here to judge you. I just wanted to know what you're all about. That's it.
That is where we come from. We don't advocate for any kind of pedophilia and stuff like that, because marriage is something entirely different, where there's responsibilities that the man must fulfill. The man is responsible for the woman's health and her clothes and her food
Yeah,
and all
but
of these
that
things.
doesn't really
He must fulfill all
relate
these.
to that, right? No, does it?
I need to answer because you guys are trying to equate it to someone who's just going and I don't know, as some of the other people were saying in the chat, that it's rape and so on. This is nonsense because the man has responsibilities that he must fulfill, and this is how human beings have lived for the past thousands of years. Okay, the reason why in Japan the age of consent is still 13 years old. It's not because all of Japan and every person living in Japan is a pedophile. It's because this is how it has been for a very long time, and they lived their lives. And the woman at that age, you know, there are very many different factors, like the environment of the woman, grows up in, and so on and so forth, and other different things that determine if she is ready for marriage or not. That's why Islam doesn't, have a specific age. When you have a specific age, you cause a lot of problems. How does it make sense? What age do you use? If you use 18, you also cause many problems, which these people don't even follow to begin with, because they allow two 12-year-olds, two 13-year-olds, they find no problem with that.
Yeah.
You
You
might
keep
give
coming
them.
back to that. Yeah, you're coming back to that. But yeah, we've heard it before because you've said it like 15 times already today. But
I
you,
mean, I just want to say, Sawanto, you saying the N word to me again and again isn't you being righteously angry at all. In fact, arrogance is a very, very vile major sin. That's in all the religions. If you have something to say, then you can say it now instead of just saying the N word in the chat again and again.
who are you talking to
All right,
right now?
continue. Sorry, I was talking to
At
someone. You
least
can.
say it in voice, Sorrento, so we can have a sound like of you saying nigger.
I wish I could. I'm busy right now.
Oh, you're too busy to say nigger on chat?
Okay, folks. I think my work is done, and this has been at least now I know. So I am going to have to fade myself away because I have shit to do. But this has been grand, and I hope you are going to continue a great discussion and great debate.
I
thank you
hope
for
I
your time,
didn't
bro.
scare away your advertisers, Dozer.
Only Raid Shadow Legends. Alrighty then.
Oh.
I see you soon. Oh, that was a fucking thing.